First step, seat belts fastened. Fuel shut-off valve on. The valve is here, and it indicates that it is on. Cyclic collective frictions off. Cyclic friction is here. Collective friction is here. Move this forward. Full travel free. So remove the cyclic throughout its entire range of motion to make sure there's no binding, that it is free. And do the same with the collective. All the way up, all the way down, and the tail rotor pedals full left, full right. Full left, full right, back to neutral. Frictions on the collective, frictions on the cyclic. Rotor brakes disengaged. Circuit breakers are all in. They are all in. Landing lights off. Landing light is here, down is off. Avionics switches are off, and they are off. Clutch is disengaged. Clutch is here, it is disengaged. The altimeter set, we've got an elevation here of about 20 feet, so we're going to set the altimeter to about 20 feet. And the hydraulic and governor switches are on. Hydraulic forward is on, and the governor switch is located here at the end of the collective. There's a decal here that shows to the left is off, to the right is on, so we're going to switch that on. That completes the before starting engine checklist. Starting the engine, throttle's closed. We're going to make sure the throttle's all the way closed. The battery and strobe switches are on. Battery and strobe. The area is clear. Mixture is full rich. Primed in both, and then we'll start the engine. But very quickly, once we start the engine, we are going to engage the alternator and the clutch, verify oil pressure, and verify the clutch light is on. That's fairly quickly. Mixture's full rich. We're going to prime, then both. Prime, we're going to engage the ignition switch to prime, and then when we just let go, it's going to go to both. We're going to prime 4 to 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mixture out. Okay, engage, starter engage. The starter button is on the end of the collective here. Once we hit the starter button, the engine cranks. When it engages, we're going to push the mixture full rich all the way in. And once it starts, we're going to check oil pressure, make sure the oil pressure is above 25 psi, and we're going to put the guard switch on the fuel mixture. Okay, we're clear. Alternator clutch guard on. We have oil pressure, and the clutch light is on. Bring the engine RPM up to maintain 55 to 60% during clutch engagement. And headsets on. Okay, we're waiting for the clutch light to go out. Once that clutch light's out, we're going to bring the engine rotor RPM between 60 and 70%. I usually go to 70. I'll go ahead and close the doors. I'll switch on the air conditioner. Okay, clutch lights out. 60 to 70. We're going to go right on up to 70. Okay, we're going to maintain 70% while the engine is warming up, waiting for the cylinder head temperature and the oil temperature. And the cylinder head temperature usually takes the longest. And as the engine warms up, the RPM will slowly start to increase as the oil warms. So we need to maintain that RPM at 70, so we'll have to roll it back slightly as necessary. Okay, once our gauges are in the green, we're going to check our ignition system, our magnetos. And we review the checklist while we're waiting for the warm-up. We'll also look around again, make sure there's nothing's changed with the environment, make sure nobody's come up to the helicopter. The most dangerous part of a helicopter on the ground is the tail rotor. Fortunately, people have in the past walked into a tail rotor. Okay, the magnetos is referred to as the mags, is the ignition system for the helicopter. We've got dual magnetos, we've got two, and for redundancy. One fails, the other continue to run, which is why we're checking them individually, make sure we have both magnetos operating. Okay, looks like we're just coming into the green. The cylinder head temperature, oil pressure is good, oil temperature is good. So we're going to go ahead and check the mags at 75% engine rotor RPM. So we're going to increase the engine RPM a bit to 75. We're going to check one mag at a time. Go with the left first, and it's a 2-second period of time. We're allowed 7% drop maximum in RPM. Okay, 1001, 1002, get about a 4% drop, and slight engine roughness, which is normal. Go over to the right mag, 1001, 1002, at about a 4% drop again, some engine roughness, which again is normal, and it smooths out once we go back to bow, so we're back to bow. Okay, we're going to do a mag, our sprag clutch check, which separates the engine from the rotor. In the event of an engine failure, we can do an auto rotation. So we're going to roll the throttle off, and we're going to see that the engine and the rotor needles split. And we see the engine separated from the rotor, which it's, the sprag is functioning normally. Okay, the doors are closed and latched, which they are. That's something that should be always double checked. There was an instance several years ago where a pilot took off with a photographer, did not have his door latched, and on the departure, the door came open, distracted him, he reached over to close the door and crashed the helicopter. Very unfortunate. Okay, limit map chart. We're going to check and see what performance we have today. And for us here at sea level, in this current temperature, we have about 23 inches max continuous, and we have about 25.6. We've got maximum power available. Okay, we're going to check the hydraulic system. So we're going to frictions off, collective and cyclic. We're going to switch the hydraulic switch off. And we're going to move the cyclic forward, left, and right. And we should have about a ½ inch of free play in each direction before we feel any resistance. Okay? Feel that. And we feel resistance once we go beyond that, which that is normal. We're going to switch the hydraulics back on. And we're going to verify that we have smooth, no resistance feedback on the cyclic. Okay, the governor's on. We're going to increase the throttle up to 80%. Governor is ineffective below 80%. When it is switched on, it activates above 80. So we're going to roll the throttle very slowly up. And once we reach about 80%, the governor will take over, and it has taken over, and it takes the RPM right up to 102%. Okay, we have no warning lights. All the caution lights are out, and our last check is going to be our low rotor RPM test indicator. So we're going to lift the collective slightly off the stop here, and we're going to roll the throttle down. We want to see that we get an activation right in around 97%. There we go. And we have an activation right at about 97%, so we're going to push the collective back down. Okay, frictions are off. So that completes our startup. So we're going to go ahead and lift off to a hover, and we're going to check our power, make sure that we have available power. Manifold pressure at this weight should hover right in around 22 inches or so in the hover. If it's quite a bit more than that, then there's a potential problem. We also want to note any unusual vibration level. So as we slowly raise the collective, add a little bit of left pedal, come off the surface. And we're hovering right in around 22 inches of manifold. The helicopter feels smooth, normal. It all feels good. The helicopter is okay for takeoff.